Hello everybody, my name is Jeff and welcome back to Mimic Mondays. Now this one is slightly weirder than the last couple of ones. So this one is a vacation request form. Let me read it out. Murray's Costume Manor Vacation Request Form. Name, seniority, reason must specify date, department, duration. As per the employee handbook, weddings, including your own, and funerals are not acceptable reasons to miss work. Which, odd. That last bit is kind of interesting. We'll get on to that in a minute. As for the title, fill in your vacation request for Memorial Day, or are you saving it for Friday, June 13th? Like I say, this is a much more interesting one. And the fact that it's so bloody confusing, because like the past few ones, the past few teasers have been mainly focusing on the fact that Edwin Murray has been creating these mimic programs and continuing to use them, because the assumption up until these Mimic Mondays was kind of that there's only one mimic, and that was purely based on what we knew from the books, because there is an entire story that is like explicitly telling us this Edwin and the Mimic's origin. It's even titled The Mimic. You don't really get much straightforward in FNAF, but in FNAF's typical fashion, no, that's not at all what happened. Well, it might be. I think the quote was, if you've read the books, you don't know the full story yet. So, maybe we do, maybe we don't. Who's to say? Who's to know? But those past teasers have been mainly specifying, hey, even after David's death, presumably after David's death, rather. We don't know, we presume. But even after the original Mimic was made, Edwin still made more. And it seems likely that he made them after David's death, because basing off the book, there's kind of that bit of point. I want to say it was Mamikado who I watched, and she kind of was going on about there's that small bit of time after David's death where Edwin could have made a lot more mimics before going missing. It does seem odd and out of character for Edwin, which I've been saying for a while. Like, there's no doubt about it that he's been making them. But no matter which way you see it, he's made more mimics than we originally thought, and that's what those past teasers have been focusing on. This one is just weird. The only bit that kind of at all seems like any information at all is that last bit of, as per the employee handbook, weddings, including your own, and funerals are not acceptable reasons to miss work. Which, first was like, the fuck? But I'm wondering, I don't know, like, the only thing I can connect that to at all is obviously Edwin Murray, kind of obviously his son died, but we had no reason to really believe that he missed the funeral. If anything, like, I don't think it even says anything about the funeral. So this one seems weird. Obviously still gonna bring it up because it's FNAF news and it's Mimic Monday. We're gonna talk about Mimic Monday. What kind of a Monday will it be without a mimic? I can't answer. But like I said, I do not know the fuck this is meant to be. Like what? So in one of my last videos, I did a reaction to this teaser right here, Murray's Magic Coat Rack, from the MCM archives. And on that video, I got a comment from Victory Games 32, or V1CT0RY Games 32. I don't know how you want me to pronounce it. I would presume it's Victory Games 32, but I'm saying both to be on the safe side. But they say, if you listen harder, you can hear some sort of struggle in the background, and that is what I want to test today. A little bit of theory busting. So, I mean, I guess it's quite lucky that I had this as well to talk about as well as this, because I'm going to be honest, I can't think of anything for that teaser apart from the whole, he had more people work for him, and maybe he missed either David's funeral or his wedding to funeral. Those are the things I can think about for those. But I want to listen through this again.
Charles Scar and more Italy.
There is something there. About here, I was hearing, like, kind of right as the commercial is starting, I heard like a shout out. I was like, I don't know if that's just my mind tricking myself into thinking if we go back to here. There. Where's that? I wasn't sure. Is that just static? Is that just kind of my mind tricking myself into thinking I'm hearing a voice yell out, and it's just maybe some static or the distortion of the commercialers? I don't know what you call it. The narrator's voice. Wasn't too sure. There might be more stuff kind of going through this. I couldn't really hit, like, again. It feels like I'm hearing stuff at the same time. Like, how much that is true and how much is it not. And somewhere around here it said my leg.
Scarves and more.
My leg. Is that got my leg?
And more. Bags, shawls, scarves and more.
It's either saying ow my leg or it got my leg. I can't tell which one.
It'll even hold your pots and pans, or your pets, or you, if you're feeling down.
That's definitely running and yelling in fear. You never mistake that noise. And also, again, that could just be my mind kind of because of the Mimic story. If you don't know, I kind of touched on the first half earlier, and I've gone into it in depth in, I believe it was the first Mimic Monday. I want to say it was one of my earlier Secret of the Mimic teaser reactions or trailer reactions or something like that. But in the second half of the story, there after Edwin, it's like kind of fucked off and disappeared, Fazbear sent in a couple of teams to kind of go in, essentially raid and just kind of take any parts, because in the Tales of the Peaceplex universe, they bought out Edwin. It is only Edwin they have. That Edwin isn't what's the word? Edwin isn't a contractor. He actually works for Fazbear, and that's one of the things that now people are like, okay, so why are Fazbear going in, and how much can they get in? Is it like a legal loophole? What's going on? Doesn't matter for right now, but one of the teams kind of went in, they died, and we followed the second team, and they go in pretty much more or less what we then think happened to the first team, where they go in, the door locks, and like, it doesn't matter. They go in, continue the job, they fix up some stuff, including the Mimic, and then the Mimic kills them off one by one, and there is a scene where like one or two of them are getting like massacred, and then the rest is like, fuck, we need to get out of here. And they run. So I'm wondering, confirming that something like this happened in the games, or am I just hearing things? Because am I just hearing what is definitely a voice? Am I just kind of hearing it in that way because I've got that idea in my head? And that's one of the things that I think with these kind of things we've got to be careful about. It's like, how much are we actually hearing? How much are we hearing because we've got this idea in our head? I am not denying there is definitely something there. So I'm not denying Victory Games Stage 2. There is definitely something there. There's definitely, very much definitely something there. And it's very interesting that, because definitely says ow my leg or ow my leg or something my leg. It definitely says something my leg. I think it's either ow my leg or it got my leg. I'm not too sure which one. And then here it definitely sounds like they're running and yelling in fear. Presumably from the Mimic.
Or you, if you're feeling down.
Go, go, go. And then presumably the Mimic kills them. I don't think it's meant to be that. Has anyone in the comments seen that? Anyone in the comments? This way.
House, the solution is here, friend.
I kind of hear it. Who's that? Oh, thank you, Toy Martyrs 1009. So, it's got my leg, so I'm not the only one hearing that one. 32 scream. Yeah, I agree. There is definitely some kind of screaming or yelling in fear. It's got my leg this way.
House, the solution is here, friend. of your house. The solution is here.
I kind of hear it. I kind of hear it. I kind of hear it, but I don't know. I don't know. Because again, before I thought it kind of just sounded like some kind of like saying something, but couldn't make it out. So now it's like, okay, I kind of hear it. I kind of hear it. But am I hearing it just because someone else is saying?
The solution is here, friends. Murray's
It definitely sounds like something A. So way would make sense. This, I think so. Yeah. I still stand by. There is definitely some kind of like yelling surprise or shock. So thank you to Victory Games 32 and Toby Mods 1009. Victory for like letting me know that there's something there, and Toby Mardis for putting that, helping me out a little bit. You get alright, you help me out there. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. There's not really much else to go on about because I still maintain. I'm gonna get back up the thing. Yeah, looking at the editment, you're gonna have to fill out for me, but looking at that vacation request form, they was reading because there's nothing filled out on it. I can't really figure it out, and there's not really anything on the description either. Because like, filling your vacation request for Memorial Day, or are you sending it Friday, June 13th? Obviously, June 13th being the release day. So I mean, I guess I am, but yeah, the actual vacation request form itself. The only interesting thing I can think about is further solidifies the idea that Murray is hiring other people within his company, and it's possibly connected to Edwin and Fiona's wedding and David's death, or Fiona's death. Coming to think about it, Fiona also died, so maybe it's to do with that. Maybe it's all three. Maybe like Edwin's just really filled with regret and then by the time that like maybe that was just like a this is why Edwin was just so destroyed that he was like, I'm just gonna disappear from the narrative for the next 50 years. But maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just an explanation as to why he's no longer in the narrative. He's like, well, he missed his own wedding. His wife then died. He then couldn't go to his wife's funeral because of his own fucking rules. And then he couldn't go to David's death because of his own rules. Which also, like, if you're the head of the company, surely if you're the head of the company, you'd be able to do something about that. Maybe make an exception for yourself. I don't know. So maybe it's also hinting that maybe Edwin, if it is to do with Edwin missing the funerals and wedding, then perhaps is meant to hint that maybe Edwin isn't in control. Again, it's a really far-fetched thing. There's not really much for me to talk about for that. And also, a special thanks to Victory Games 32 for letting me know about the whole voices in the video thing for Murray's Magic Code Rack. And I will see you all in about an hour or two, because I have a video coming up. I'll see you in an hour or two for missed messages. Goodbye for now. That's the wrong button. Go bed for now.